안녕하세요, 저는 Roki입니다, and welcome to today's video where we are going to be reacting to some more aespa. And today we have got once again a different video. We're returning to our photographer react series, and of course you're obviously judging by today's video, we are going to be reacting to aespa's brand new concept teasers which they have dropped for their brand new comeback Savage. Now today we have just got Ningning and of course Winter, because Karina and Giselle haven't been released just yet, but I think that we have got plenty of stuff to go through. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I am a professional photographer outside of everything that I do here on YouTube. When I say professional, I mean like I do it, I earn money off it, but it's not my main job. My main job is of course being a YouTuber, or rather a content creator, should I say, over here with you guys. But I have done quite a lot of stuff. I do know a lot about photography and camera angles and of course how to capture subjects. So of course, if you guys want to go and catch my Instagram or anything like that, then do go and check it out. But of course, I haven't shot in a very long time because of COVID. Fuck you, COVID. But also on top of that, yeah, it's a little bit different, like different photography fields, all that jazz. Yeah, different types of knowledge. Anyway, I'm a street photographer. That's all you guys need to know. I am really freaking excited today, y'all, because these concept photos, to say the least, are absolutely freaking incredible. I wanted to say that they are next level, but I'm not going to go ahead and say that, even though I just did. But anyway, I had a look at these very briefly last night over on Twitter. I saw them again this morning. I've seen obviously a lot of people talking about them, and I felt inspired to make a photographer reacts video because I haven't done this for quite some time, and I really do kind of miss getting on my shit and just kind of like talking with you guys and having a really chill time about you know, appreciating really good photography, really good editing, really good styling, and compositions as well, because it's honestly one of my favorite things to do. So of course, if you're interested in these types of videos and you would like more, then do obviously let me know down in the comments below, and do obviously make sure to subscribe to the channel if you of course you would like to see more of these, because it's very different to the other reaction type videos that you usually see. And concept photos I don't think are ever really talked about, so it's definitely kind of like a passion of mine to bring that to the forefront and obviously help people to appreciate who obviously takes these photos and, you know, the work that goes into these as well, because it's very difficult. It costs a lot of money and it costs a lot of time. So yeah, let's all appreciate together. So first off, today we have got Ningning. Now, dude, this photo, like honestly, there's so much going on here. Like it struck me straight away just because of the snake. I thought, wow, shit, she posed with a snake. She did not in fact pose with a snake, of course. It's like just one of those things where I looked at it and I was like, holy fuck, a snake. All right, cool, let's go. I assume that this is Black Mamba. I assume that this is kind of what we're getting at, or at least if it's not Black Mamba itself, it is just a Mamba snake regardless. Of course, I'm going to kind of litter a little bit of lore here and there because looking at these photos, I think that they are littered with lore. There is so much in here, of course, to kind of like dissect and go through. But of course, I'll kind of just layer that onto my analysis anyway. First off, I have to say I absolutely freaking love just this concept in general, and Ningning looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. If we kind of zoom in a little bit towards like her face, you can obviously see that we've had like a little bit of a change with her styling, her hairstyle. She's obviously gone from like bright red to more of like a, I guess you could say like an orangey type of brunette, and it looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. She looks so goddamn beautiful. She has an absolutely beautiful face, and I love the fact that you can look at her from honestly any angle and she looks like she is going to cut you in half with her visuals. It's absolutely freaking ridiculous. But probably the one thing that I love the most about this photo is her boots. They're fluffy. I really have absolutely no idea what they are. They are just so, I keep on misclicking on Photoshop as well. I'm sorry y'all for those messages, but they're like fluffy. I can't even really make out what exactly they are or what type of relation they have here to the snake as well. But it's just really interesting, really captivating, really kind of eye-catching. Now, I do also know that the stylist for their pop magazine has also styled them this time as well for their Savage comeback photos, for their teasers, and I think that that's absolutely freaking amazing. The handle is Punky Spider over on IG. I do have some notes because, you know, I obviously had a lot of thoughts coming into this, and I really wanted to kind of, you know, pick this apart and make sure that I don't forget anything with you guys. But definitely do go and check out Punky Spider's Instagram, because the styling is just absolutely freaking amazing. And one of the reasons why is because of what Ningning is of course wearing as her bottoms, and then of course up here on her top. We will see it a little bit clearer in the coming photos as well. But basically, this is like very Matrix inspired. It reminds me a hell of a lot of the Matrix, and especially like as we kind of go through more of these photos, we'll see this in terms of like the poses, the way that Ningning is actually like almost like she seems to be acting out certain types of poses as well that are very reminiscent of the Matrix movies, and I absolutely freaking adore it. Now, of course, this is not like she's not like suspended in the air or anything. We will obviously get to this, but it seems like she's quite literally just being taken a photo, like this photo is being taken while she's posing on top of glass. We can kind of see that here with her fingertips. There are these like flat lines that are being pressed against something, and then you would really just assume it's glass anyway because of how clear this is, but it looks absolutely freaking amazing nonetheless, and they've made sure to make sure that this photo is as clear as possible, and I love the detail that we're still able to get here. She seems like she's got water elements on her nails, so like she's got these very, very, very long nails. It seems like they're like pearls or water droplets on the very edges of her nails underneath, and then up here we've got like this almost like suit jacket, like this blazer arm type scenario thing going on here, and there's of course lettering that's written here. Now, for those of you guys who have seen the Matrix, for those of you guys who haven't, essentially what this coding, I guess I'll call it as, because I really can't think of any other word for it right now, represents is like the fact that like you're in the system, you're in a simulation. And the way that I think that this is really interesting is because it like ties into the fact that aespa have said for this, what is it? It's like hallucination quest, like hallucination quest. So technically they could be implying, and I think that they are implying, that currently the aespa members, when they're coming back this time, are going to be mid hallucination. So like they're sinking out, right? The Black Mamba has the ability to do that, and of course we've seen that happen in Black Mamba, so their debut. So this is going to be a direct follow-on from that, it seems. And then I think that as a result, we're going to be getting like a proper aespa comeback, like a proper aespa song, not just like a remake of a previous song or anything, even though there was technically lore also in Next Level as well. But I love it. She's got some things written here in that coding, which we will have a look at in a little bit more depth very soon, but I absolutely love it. Of course, she's just occupying the center of this photo, and of course the left hand third, we've got this snake obviously weaving through, so it's coming in from the right, weaving up and around, out of frame, and then weaving back down. It makes the photo feel very complete. I mean, of course, we've got a white background, and I think that aespa are doing absolutely amazing things in front of just a white background. Like, it's very difficult to shoot concept teasers in front of white backgrounds because, of course, it just looks empty. There's nothing there, and you know, if it's too bleak and the subject isn't interesting enough, then at times it can just look really boring. You can just be like, okay, cool, well, it's a white background, dope, I don't care. But the addition of the snake I really like. This does also pop up again in Winter's teaser, and I think that this is rather a motif rather than a stylistic choice, although it does work as both. Now, one thing I've also remembered as well, and going into this, one thing that I noticed, and I think we can probably go to Winter's here as well, because we can see this. I won't jump back and forth too much. I will try not to, so please forgive me for that, of course. But we've got like a purple, like a violet type looking Mamba here, and then we've got like a green, like a would you call that iridescent green? I guess you can call it like an iridescent type green Mamba here that we've got as well. Now, they look like an aurora, like aurora type colors, and from what I can remember, if my memory serves me correctly, aespa's official color is aurora. So the Mamba are aurora colors. Very interesting. Is this lore? I don't know, but I absolutely freaking love it, and I just think like putting my tinfoil hat on, especially with aespa, is always really freaking fun. So I absolutely adore this photo. She looks amazing. The pose, very it's very like it's like an action pose. It's like, you know, that she's like crouching, she's like kind of ready to pounce, that type of vibe. I really like that. Moving on to the second photo, this is where I'm obviously starting to get more of these Matrix type vibes, right? Like she's, you know, kind of like being thrown in the air, like thrown in slow motion, very reminiscent of a movie. And of course, I think the one thing that's very interesting as well is, once again, she's got her hands pressed down here on some type of glass, some type of surface. And I think we can see a little bit of that actually here as well. There's like, I think probably the best thing to call it would be like maybe like a refraction. There's like a little bit of a color difference here, maybe a bit of reflection is probably the right word. Great one, Lachlan, great English. Yeah, you can kind of see that, and yet her hair has so much movement in it. There's so much movement as well in her in these like furry boots as well. So I would wonder if they had some type of like, you know, heavy duty fan going behind her to obviously blow that. Whether or not it would have been super strong, I obviously don't think so, because otherwise we'd catch the hair in her mouth and it'd be like all up in her face. But nonetheless, it really kind of gives you like this, it kind of gives you like this image that she's being launched through the sky, like she's being launched through the air. We've got like the movement, like the kinetic movement of like the fur on her boots. We've got, you know, her jacket kind of flailing around as well. We've got her hair going too, yet she's actually static. She's literally just here on like a glass pane, and you can also obviously see that too here on her leg. I think that's probably the best place to look at it. Actually, she's got like a, you know, it's like flattened, pressed against the piece of glass or whatever it is that she's on, and it's really professional. I absolutely love it. Once again, she's against a white background. She's beautifully lit, might I add. And then we've got like a little bit of this vignette type of thing going on here on the edges as well, which I think obviously draws a lot of attention immediately. I would say at least to like her face and just this body line that we've got going on right here. She's very how can I put it? She's very long here, like she's very big. So I'm starting to wonder like what type of lenses we would be using. I think I did get an idea of it when we obviously do look at winter, because winter's photos are quite profound, I think I would say, just in general. But wide angle lenses I think are the go here, and I absolutely freaking adore it. I love it because of course Ningning, very small, she's a small little bean, but yeah, these photos make her look really ominous, really big, really long, and it's really suiting this type of Matrix vibe that we're going for so far already. Here, this is fatal. I'm just gonna like very kindly, very politely simp for a second and say she is absolutely fucking gorgeous. She is just freaking amazing. Whoever did her makeup, I mean, I have to say you're amazing. But on top of that, like, Ningning is just so naturally beautiful that it's not even funny. The amount of people that literally cannot visually hold a candle to her in this world is ridiculous. And I just love everything about this entire look that she's got going on. Like, you know, she's almost, and I literally just noticed this as well. I don't know, but no, okay, I'm right. All right. She's literally like thrown off the jacket, it seems, on that side, like on her right. Yeah, on her right shoulder. So the shoulder that's furthest away from us. I don't know if we can see that. Does she throw it off, or is it like shoulderless to begin with? Is it like sleeveless to begin with? I think it's sleeveless to begin with. This outfit is so good, bro. Like, I really love this outfit for this, because it looks like almost like very sensual, kind of mature in a way. Mature is probably the better word for me to use, actually, because it's like, it's kind of like she's like thrown it off. Like, it's a little sexy, but from this angle at least it is, but it's very freaking classy, and I absolutely adore it. The way that we've also kind of colored this as well, it's a lot more of like a low contrast type shot. It reminds me of, you know, these more filmic type edits that you had, you know, in the 90s, in the early 2000s. And this vibe definitely comes through, I think, a hell of a lot with even just the way that she's styled. Like, it reminds me a lot of the early 2000s, like, you know, going back to like flip phones. You've got like accessorized flip phones, people with like, you know, hella long nails and stuff like that. It's just, it really takes me back to the early 2000s. I don't know if I'm describing that perfectly. And of course, I don't go with any scripts, so I am sorry if I make absolutely no fucking sense. But yeah, I really love that. When we look at her outfit a little bit more, we do start seeing a few more things actually start to come up. Now, we've got here, let me see if I can, let me see if I can get it. So here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but we've got Make It Out, we've got Next Level, we've got Nervous, we've got My, Make It Out, once again, Ma. I don't know why I'm bothering with that, but yeah, we've got Next Level, which you guys can see here. We've got plenty of different, and I fucking did it again. We've got plenty of different types of like scripts that we've got written here into this coding, and you know, it's like watch me, wake it, like watch me Watch me while I work it out. Watch me while I make it out. So we've got next level references here. We've got work it, work it, work it out, make it out here. Next level once again, novice. I really love the fact that, you know, in this matrix code that we've got here, we're referencing next level. So it's obviously a follow on from that too. We've got law references, but it really then starts to kind of trigger my brain into thinking as well that, yeah, once again, they must be in a hallucinating state. They must be synced out with their eyes still, and that they're obviously not able to return to some type of reality. I think in the next level music video as well, from what I can remember, Karina was actually already hallucinating. I think from the area that she was in, there was a couple of areas where she's kind of like looking around. She wakes up, she's laying on a bed of flowers. I think it's blue, it's purple, and then there's like a snake kind of like flying in the air. There's a mamba looking at her. So I think that perhaps she's already hallucinating, and now maybe the other members are joining her. Not entirely sure what the go is there, but yeah, very, very, very freaking interesting. I really love this photo, just the composition of it in general, the way that, of course, she's still center, but she works her way up to the corner. There is like this spiral rule as well, as far as composition is concerned in photography, where, you know, if you go for like a top corner, so like this kind of top third corner, whether it be on the left, the right, obviously the bottom right or the bottom left, depending on who your subject is and what your subject is, your eyes are just kind of like naturally drawn there. So your eyes follow this spiral all the way there naturally. Absolutely freaking love it. And it seems like they've obviously used that here. Most of all though, her styling, she still looks super freaking expensive. We've got hella rings on here that look really, really, really freaking expensive. We can see a little bit more of her nails, and they look like they're green once again. So obviously following suit with the coding here, but then also on top of that with the mamba that she's pictured with as well, because the mamba that she's pictured with is also green. Now, when we move on a little bit more, once again, absolutely freaking love this photo. White background, nothing else to it, but absolutely love it nonetheless. The boots, I have to say, they're a little weird, but I kind of like it. Like they're very odd. I really don't know what it is that they're supposed to like symbolize. Like she almost looks kind of like a centaur. Like it looks like they're like, you know, horse's legs, like centaur's legs, something like that. Like she actually looks kind of like, you know, she's got the legs of an animal there. The way that she's obviously like bending down and posing here too, it's very like, I don't know, it gives me hip hop vibes, if I want to kind of say that, but I really do like it nonetheless. It's not necessarily like the craziest pose or, you know, anything that's too, I guess, like visually like, wow, look at this, look at me, and like it's not really that type of vibe, but nonetheless she still rocks it. She looks very, very, very tall, and I think, as you can see, you know, she's not bending back a whole way, she's literally just got her leg extended. But you know, here, the way that we're able to follow the line of this leg all the way up to her face, and your eyes do naturally go there, you see the leg first and you go all the way up once again to this top corner, is because we are using a wide angle lens. And I absolutely love the way that they have shot this, one from a lower angle, but two, a lot closer to her too. Makes her look more dominant in the photo, makes her look freaking huge without looking too huge as well, might I add. And it gives a lot more depth to this photo. It doesn't feel like it's just a, it doesn't feel like it's just like, oh, stand there, stand next to that wall, make a kind of cool pose and I'll take a photo of you, something like that. It adds a lot more depth to this photo, and I really like that. As far as Ningning's photos are concerned, I think she looks absolutely incredible. There's obviously a lot of lore to it. Once again, I will talk about this a little bit more with Winter. I'll probably wind up just repeating myself, but she looks really, really, really cool. I can't wait to see whether or not she's actually got more. And of course, Karina and Giselle, I really can't wait to see, of course, what they have got coming for us too. Now, as far as Winter is concerned, Winter, once again, is standing on a panel of glass. She looks a lot further away. Like, she looks like she is way, 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 way further away. And that is probably just due to the fact that, once again, here we are using a wide angle lens. Here, her legs look very, very, very long. Her boots look very, very, very long. She looks like she is, you know, I guess in like a windy place, I guess you could say. We've got these bootlaces, which are kind of going absolutely freaking everywhere. Not to say that I don't like that though, because I do definitely like that. She's got what appears to be like lightning and thunder over here. Yeah, like lightning. She's got like lightning and electricity going on over here on her jacket. I'm not entirely sure what the rest of the elements have to do with that here, but it's very, very interesting nonetheless. She's wearing a similar type of like link chain necklace to Ningning as well there, because I did notice back here on Ningning that she's got something kind of similar. It's a little bit closer together. It probably resembles her what's this called? Freaking come on. Am I really gonna have a mental brain fart over an accessory? Bracelet. It kind of resembles her bracelet. Of course, it's a little closer together in terms of its style, but once again, we've got Winter with a similar type look, similar type vibe up here. Her haircut, very intrigued by this. Very intrigued by why they went with that. It kind of looks really, really short here, but perhaps it's just the angle. I think she's got it up, but I really wouldn't know. I can't tell for the life of me. Once again, though, we have the addition of this mamba, and of course, I think once again, very tastefully used. It obviously fills up the photo, not too much, of course. There's not too much of it. There's obviously a lot more Winter, and this one being center focused as well makes you only focus on Winter. But against a white background, if we didn't have the mamba, probably it would have looked a little too boring, because Winter's pose here, especially, isn't anything, I guess, too captivating per se. It's not like she's once again flying through the air or anything. She's just kind of chilling. She got her hand on her head. She almost looks like she's like looking out for something as well. But very interesting. I'm really interested about her haircut and would love to see what that actually looks like a lot closer to the comeback date as well. When we get into the second photo though, we obviously start to see a lot more in terms of like her movement and how, like, you know, how much more captivating she is. I think once again, we're seeing these laces going absolutely freaking crazy. We can see once again on her palms that they're being pressed against something, and her nails look dramatically different to Ningning's now. They kind of look like flames, but they also kind of look like water. If they were water, that would make a lot of sense. Like if they were waves, because I don't know if you guys remember, but the actual teaser image itself for Savage, like that graphic that we've got there, it has water, so it's got waves, but then two mambas are in it. I think it's two mambas, or is it one mamba? There's two snakes in the waves, in the water, where the Savage thing is like spinning above it. So I think we're getting water references here. It'll be interesting to see what we get in Karina and Giselle's teasers as well. I don't know whether or not they'll be dramatically different, but obviously we'll just have to wait and see. She's wearing 3 rings here. I think Ningning was wearing 3 rings here as well. They're on opposite hands though, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm really just trying to theorize at this point, but yeah, she looks absolutely freaking amazing. We can see a little bit more of her hair here. I don't know whether or not it's just put up. Maybe we'll see a bit more of it later on, but it very much reminds me of like a kind of like a soccer mum haircut. Kind of a soccer mum haircut. I hope it's not. I hope it's not, but she looks absolutely freaking incredible nonetheless. We do once again have this kind of like Matrix type action pose, yet here it's a little less obvious. I wonder if the crescent moons on her stockings mean anything. I wonder. Of course, I want to say like, nah, I don't know. It would probably have nothing to do with that. The concept overlap would probably be a little bit too much. But anyway, we're still getting like, you know, these very like Matrix type vibes, action movie type vibes, rather should I say, in terms of the way that she's obviously flying through the air here. But at the same time, she's not flying through the air, she's stationary. But I love the way that they have been able to use whatever props it is that they have also used, whatever extra techniques as well, to make it look like there is movement in these photos. Because at first glance, I did also think that perhaps she was suspended. She was probably carried through the air. You know, she's probably connected to ropes and they've been able to edit those out. But no, in fact, she's completely stationary and they've made it look like she's moving. And I think that's absolutely freaking awesome. Once again, using a wide angle though here too, to shoot this shot. Now, this one is probably my favorite photo. I fucking love this. This photo is absolutely freaking sick. I love it purely just because, once again, similar to Ningning, we start here at the very tip of this boot and we go all the way up to her face up at the top left corner. She looks absolutely freaking stunning, might I add. But these boots, these like patent leather boots that we've got down here, look absolutely freaking fire. We've got some really awesome styling here on the bootlaces as well. It makes them look interesting. They don't just look like normal boring bootlaces. It seems like we've actually got, I didn't notice this before, it seems like we got a little bit more detail for her nails. I think these are waves. There's like a pearl on top of this one, or like a bubble type thing going on here. These definitely seem to be the color of waves, similar to the ones that we saw in the initial teaser as well. So I absolutely freaking love that. Once again, this lightning becomes a lot clearer. So maybe she's got control over this type of element here, or maybe this type of element is going to be featured in the music video as well. And then when we get up here to her, she just looks absolutely freaking stunning. She looks absolutely stunning. I love her eye makeup and how we've obviously got that eyeliner, you know, not only gracing the tops of her eyelids, but then also as well really coming down here into the crevice, and then obviously spreading a lot thicker on the bottom. It reminds me once again a hell of a lot of like the early 2000s, but definitely gives me like more of a goth type vibe here for winter, which I absolutely freaking love. I think the pose that she's obviously taking, the crouching pose as well, very aggressive is not the word that I want to use, but it's like very standoffish in a way, and the angle that she's looking down at us too is very it's like she's looking with caution. I really like the types of vibes that she's giving off here. Once again, she is in a completely white room against a white background, and she is the standout. There is nothing wrong with white backgrounds just in general, but you know, sometimes, like I said, they can be used either very well, depending of course on how interesting the subject is, or very poorly. Once again though, I love the fact that we've got a lot more of this filmic type of look in it. I'm not entirely sure if you guys can see it, but it is like the contrast has been obviously pulled down. It looks a lot softer. It doesn't look as edgy and as hard. If I was to probably make it look a lot harder, then, you know, you could really up the contrast, and, you know, she obviously looks, you know, like a lot different. Let me just do that really quickly. She obviously looks a lot different. She wouldn't look like this just in general. This photo wouldn't be edited like this, because even then I think that this is worse than the actual original. But the boots, the colors would be a lot closer to this color, so obviously they've desaturated it and taken the contrast down quite a lot. But also there, you can notice here down in the floor, they've added like this blue type hue, this blue kind of like tint. There's this very slight blue cast, which makes this obviously look a lot softer and a lot cooler in terms of just the way that they've edited it. And I really love how pleasing that is to the eyes. Like, she's got such a hard look, yet the photo comes across so softly. So it's really nice and really pleasant to look at. It's not too in your face, but it's captivating enough for you to want to look at all aspects of the image and really appreciate as much of it as you possibly can. Last but not least, when we get down to this last one here, you can actually see a hell of a lot more here on her nails. So you can see a lot more of that water. It almost looks like icicles, actually. They almost look like icicles, but I'm going to go ahead and say that they are waves, because that would make the most sense. This photo is absolutely freaking stunning. It is stunning. I don't even know where to begin with it, but just her eyes are so enchanting. It's not funny. Like, the way that the photographer was able to capture her here, we're hiding her lips, so there's like a bit of mystery here because we can't see her entire face, but we can see 90% of it. 90% of it is death staring you right in your soul, and it's death staring you under those very long bangs too. Now, I don't quite know exactly what color her hair is, whether or not we've gone for like a complete like jet black, but it does look like there are tints of blue here. I'm not entirely sure if it's just like a very dark blue, but she looks absolutely freaking amazing, man. Just look at her eyes, look at the detail. I just marvel at her. I think she's amazing. She's absolutely incredible. She's obviously here as well. She's got this the mascara is quite interesting too, because of course it's clumped together. It's not like Ningning's, because Ningning's her like mascara, or rather should I say like the eyelashes that she's got here, they seem a lot more they seem a lot fuller, right? They're a lot fuller, they're a lot more probably refined is what I want to say. They look a lot more modern, a lot fuller, whereas then when we go here to winter, it's like you know, they're clumpy. It's almost like she's like a teenager. She's going through like an angsty type period. She reminds me of like those types of like rebellious, more like gothic, say, teenagers, you know, and really gives off that type of vibe. And I love how that once again throws back to, you know, those very early like 2000s type vibes, like those late 90s, early 2000s, very, very, very much that like that type of look. And I absolutely freaking adore it. I love how she's got her hands crossed here. I think the pose is really, really cool. The fact that, you know, we get to see her so up close here, but of course she's still center frame. But you get to see, once again, because of this wide angle lens, she's got a bit more depth. She's got a bit more depth. I think this was shot wide. I want to go ahead and say that it does, that it has been, because she obviously has so much more depth to her body and she looks like her legs are so goddamn long. But then again, it might not necessarily be a wider lens because there's not really any distortion here on her face. But I'm not entirely sure. I would definitely have to try and figure that out. Sometimes it is a little easier to tell. Sometimes it's a lot more difficult. But I love the way that this shot has been composed, long story short. I think the fact that, you know, you are led, obviously, from her eyes all the way down to her boot, but also to consider everything here in the first part of the image first, and then obviously run that line down her body to obviously see where it ends, I think is just really, really, really good photography, a great composition. And once again, she is against a white background. There is nothing else there, but nothing else needs to be there because Winter is enough. She is more than enough. And so is freaking Ningning, man. So is Ningning. I absolutely freaking love this. I've been going for almost 30 minutes. I don't know how. I really don't know how. But look, if you guys have survived this video and you're still here, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. These types of videos are a lot of fun for me, even though I'm quite literally just talking and nerding out about photography and things that I might have noticed. But, you know, there's obviously lore here. There's a lot of things that, you know, can be picked up in these teasers, and I'm glad that I get to go through and analyze them with you, even if I'm pointing out some very obvious things. If you've learned anything, or if there's anything interesting that you found in this video, then please do obviously let me know down in the comments as well. And, you know, obviously let me know if you'd like me to continue this series for the rest of their teasers as well that they have for this comeback. And who knows, if you guys enjoy it enough, then I might do it for some more artists as well, whether, you know, they be comebacks, you know, coming very soon, or whether they be for artists who have already had comebacks previously. I would love to do that, of course, if you guys vibe this type of series, because it is still in its infancy stage over here on the channel. I am still obviously trialing it, but I absolutely freaking love talking photography and talking K-pop in the same video. I think it's really, really, really cool. But anyway, I just wanted to say, of course, thank you so much once again for tuning in. I can't freaking wait for aespa's comeback. I will be reacting to Savage the moment that it comes out, and you guys fucking bet that I'll be buying that album and, of course, adding it to this massive shelf that I've got behind me, man. I've been waiting for an aespa comeback so that I can finally add it to this shelf front and center because, dude, I'm ready to alt them, man. I absolutely adore them. I think that the members are so goddamn soft, but they are just seriously some of the most versatile queens in K-pop right now. There is almost nothing that can hold a candle to their concept and the way that they go so goddamn hard. And the craziest part about all of this is that they're rookies. They're rookies, and it's just ridiculous. Rookies, my foot. So anyway, I love this. I hope you guys did too. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, and obviously make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more of my aespa reactions, and also just any more of these types of videos in the future. But until next time, until the comeback, make sure that you guys are taking care of yourselves out there, staying safe, but most of all and above all else, making sure that you guys are staying happy, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.